What up? What up? What up, everybody? It's Coach Rob from the platform Orlando, and I got another special guest, the Dunellen High School football legend, Florida State All-American, national champion, third round draft pick from the Baltimore Ravens, and they always say this that the Baltimore Ravens are the best scouting organization in the NFL. I think that was when Ozzie was there when he came through. So I mean, to get selected by the Ravens is a big deal. And really, one of the most impressive thing is now he's defensive coordinator at Choctaw High School. And I was looking at the stats and 8-0 with four
Sure.
donuts and only allowed 34 points in Florida's 4A. I mean, that's so impressive right there. I'm talking about my man right here, Terrence Brooks. Terrence, how we doing?
Appreciate you, man. Doing well, man.
Outstanding. So, we talked a little bit before we got started, and I told you a little heartache that I was going through a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Uh,
My wife went to Florida State. My son, who's a junior, he wants to go to Florida State and run track. And so it was like, hey, for his birthday, let's go ahead and go up there. I surprised him, laid out a bunch of Florida State gear, Florida State track and field shirt, got the warm-ups, the shoes. I got tickets. We're 3 rows up. We drive up there. We bring the whole family. I brought my dog. We stay in a hotel. It's packed. We're excited. We got ACC Network out there. All that, man. They had me out there chopping. I'm a cowboy. I'm out there doing the tomahawk
yeah,
chop.
you was in there.
I was in there, and then
I
all
got
to
you.
find out, we cheer for the first play of the game or the first drive. We
Uh,
didn't cheer until the fourth quarter, and I really half-hearted cheer. And I was in the Miami section too, so I just
yeah,
want to know, like, what's your thoughts on that, and then like, how do we fix that?
man. I feel like everybody wants to blame it on a certain thing. I mean, you're either going at the coach's head or you're going at the players, or the third party would be the referee. So I mean, it's going to be one of those three things. I think it's kind of a mixture of both. I think I just from me coaching and seeing the generation where it is now and how they learn and how they go about their everyday. It may be some of the players too, though, the way they be playing. I see some things on the field, whether it's communication or just like a want to get to the ball or just like your physical nature. I just think it's different. So I think coaches got a lot more to deal with in the players. Social media, getting paid, all that stuff. I'm sure that's a factor. Coaches, I mean, it could be them too. Maybe scheme. Maybe they get out coached one game. But I don't know, man. I just want to win. I want to see, I want to see some dubs. That's really it.
Especially when you were there. I mean, like you're a Florida guy, so it's one of those things that you went to Florida State. How many times did you guys lose to Miami? I know you guys played them.
No, mm-mm,
Never lost to Miami.
not those guys.
And then you saw last year when they were in the swamp, they're doing the chop to the recruits, and I was like, man, what are they go? They're doing the tomahawk chop after they score,
Different.
and I was like, man, what is going on?
It's crazy.
And for me, so my son, we're sitting there watching the game, and he's like, yeah, 19, he's one of the top 400-meter guys in the nation. I don't know how many reverses they run to him, double reverses and all
telling you,
that.
bro.
Like I was like, if you know that, Miami knows that, Kent
Exact-
knows that, Alabama
Yeah.
knows that. They ran that reverse to him. I was like, we got to take that out of the playbook for now.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, it could be a combination of things, man. You never know, but I don't even think anybody cares about that in the day. Just win games, especially winning game. I think that was I'm gonna tell you that was the hardest part about watching the down years with them is us losing to teams who are like you supposed to be blowing them out by like 50, 60, like
Right.
we are in close games or losing those games, and I'm like, all right, that's a little different. And then like I said, you see some of the kids celebrating after they got like a 15-yard gain because they made a good tackle. I'm like, dude, that ain't what I'm used to seeing, or at least what I was, at that time, what we were used to being around in the culture. But I think everybody at the end of the day just want to see the boys win and dominate in the fashion that they're supposed to win those games at present. Like Pitt, I mean, no disrespect to them, but
Right,
to
right.
our standard, we're not supposed to be in no matches with them. So I mean, I don't know. I think it sucks to see, Florida State in that sense because people already love to hate Florida State. So it's, you're not doing yourself any good service by losing the Pitt. So it is.
Right, yeah. I don't want to harp on it. I know you're an alum, national champion. I mean, you've done so much
Yeah.
there, so you probably get enough crap. For me, I don't want to bring any more to your table, so I'm not. That's not the goal of this. But for me, I put money down. I'm tomahawk chopping. My wife, we dressed the whole family up. So for me,
I hate that
I was
for y'all.
dedicated for a day,
I
and I
hate-
get there, I'm
I
like,
hate it.
man, I want it so bad. But let's talk
I
about
hate it
you
for you.
at Dunellen High School. Let's talk about your playing days at high school. Yeah, obviously, you probably you knew from the beginning that you're going to go far in football. What were the high school days for you like?
Oh man, it was fun. I would say. I think that's when it's still organic. It's still, I mean, it's probably not now for these kids because there's a lot more pressure. But back then, man, it was just like you just loved the Friday nights, like wearing your jersey to school. You know, can't really sleep that night before. You geeked up going through pregame. I mean, it was just, I think it was just very organic and fun back then. And I had some great teammates from I still talk to some of those guys to this day, and Bubba Black and Cody Underwood. I had quite a few cousins, Malone Humbert. I mean, we just had a lot of. It was a lot of family on the team, but it was really some good friends that I grew up with ever since my Pee Wee days. Shaquille, he's another guy. I mean, it's still a lot of these guys I still, are in touch with. That I played with all the way through high school, and I think it's even cooler that now I am coaching with my head coach at that time, and Frank Beasley. So it was fun, man. I miss those days. I miss just like if one word is just fun. I just missed that part of it. It was just a good experience, having all your family in your hometown in the stadium watching you. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Is that some of the feedback? Because I'm sure the players that you coach, I mean, they want to know, how do I get to the league? How do I get to the league? And you're probably like, hey, slow down a little bit. Like,
Yeah, right.
This is some of the best moments you'll ever have in your life.
Telling you.
So is that kind of the conversations you have with them?
Yeah, man. They like to get ahead of themselves, like, thinking about offers, thinking about this and that. Like I always say that it was funny during my time before I got my first offer. I wasn't even thinking about, college. I'm thinking about day to day and just having fun. And that's the truth. I truly do remember that. And I ended up getting my first offer from Miami. And it was like, ever since then, it was just, built up. But
Right.
yeah, a lot of these kids, they getting ahead of themselves. They got some of them got the wrong, there's things that they think is important in life right now that ain't nothing. So, I mean, you get that. But my goal really at this level and from like being with the youth so much, I just want to honestly give them somewhat of a blueprint, but at least help them make, one less mistake along their journey. And to me, that's a win in my book. It's not for the money. It ain't for any other reason but to see these kids basically get to college and go change their lives, because I'm so happy for football because, that gave me my path to be successful as I am now. I just want to be able to help those kids out any way I can. So that's really where it's at right now with that.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty impressive. Your first offer is the University of Miami.
Yeah, it was wild.
I mean, that's not, we're starting off, let's get it rolling.
If you saw what Denelli looked like, you'll be like, yeah, they really came to the sticks to find this kid, for real.
Right. So let's talk about offers in general. So I told you earlier that I was reading, I like to do my research, and just see, what's written, scouting report. Obviously, you're a former player. You've been all through the leagues, so, and it said, he's near Gainesville. This is the report, right? It's almost verbatim.
Right.
And at the point, I think you had the Miami, and I think you had USF. I don't know total offers that you had. You had Miami, you had USF, and you had Florida State. And the article almost verbatim said, watch out, if he gets an offer from Florida, that's probably where he's going to go. So talk about that, being right next to Gainesville, then go to Florida State. Like, how would that process go?
Man, I mean, I feel like once you probably 30, probably 45 minutes away from Gainesville, not even. So, Gator, I mean, you're really in Gator country at that point. So it was always, again, I just watched the Miamis on TV. I watched you watch your in-state rivalries. So I was really open to anything, but being that close, you see all the Gator fans, you see the damn bumper stickers, the flags, you see all that stuff, and it's right down the road. And I think what made me a fan at that time, because I was in high school at that time, but it was a time, Tim Tebow, Percy Harvin, and Brennan Spikes, and Dimps, and Rainey, like, bro, they had an all-star, like, crazy team.
Right.
And they would let me come on not the official visits, but, they give you the tickets to come to the games. And I was at those games when they were playing, like, big-time LSU and all them teams, and I'm like, bro, hell yeah. This is like, right? I was close to the crib. It's right there. These games were lit. I mean, it was just a cool experience, I think, from then. But, there's a little influence from my coaches. They were big Florida State fans, all of them. So they kind of steered me away. But, yeah, I probably would have went there. And I'm going to tell you why I didn't go there. It was because they had told me and my coaches, like, hey, we want to bring up Terrence Brooks to these Friday night light camps. And those were like their big camps in the stadium over there at that time. So I went, and they're like, if you lock down these few receivers, these certain receivers, then we'll throw you your offer. So we're doing the regular camp, like we on the practice fields doing the camp, and they pluck like certain kids that to come into the stadium and do 1-on-1s. So I was in there with like Quentin Dunbar. There's a real shifty guy in Florida.
Quentin's
His name
fast.
Ace Sanders. He was like a little short, little shifty. I mean, he was nice. I think Jonathan Dowling was there at that time. So like, and we all, I mean, there's probably like 6 of us in the stadium. I go in there, locked down. I mean, I'm geeked. I'm definitely about to get my offer. Well, they didn't give it to me there, and I'm sitting there waiting like weeks ahead, and nothing. Like I hear nothing. So I was like, "You all right, bet?" And I had a Florida State camp up that was coming to Showtime camp. I'm pretty sure that's what they called it back then. And then we went up there, and we're sitting up in the press box, and my coach looks at me, Beasley at the time, and he was like, "Come on now, like what's up?" Like, so he kind of influenced me, and I was like, "Man, this is a vibe." And I was pretty pissed off about the Florida one, so I was like, "You know what, bet, watch this shit." And we went over there and committed that day, and that was it, man. We killed after that. They did beat us at, I want to say, my freshman year, but after that, yeah, it was up after that.
So I didn't realize. So you were, that was part of like the Netflix series.
Oh.
I mean, they were putting in work. They had a lot
Bro,
of good. They were talented. They were talented.
They was nice. They were
Man,
nice.
they were talented.
That atmosphere at that time, bro, it was unmatched. Like the swamp was ridiculous.
Had to be.
Like it was crazy.
Had to be. I mean, that's wild. So coming into Florida State, you know, what was your mindset as you're getting into your first, you know, as a freshman, you're coming into FSU? Like, what was that transition like, and how'd you get on the field? Like, obviously, you became a staple of their team.
Yeah.
So, how was that process?
It was different, man. I think just being in another town that's bigger than Denellen was a change. I mean, shit, Denellen, we only got about 4 or 5 stoplights there. I mean, that's about it. I think they just got a Publix like not too long ago, so
Right.
it ain't much there. So being Italian is on my own was different as well. But I think I think what really got me to up my game even more was just being around the talent I was. I was barely a 3-star going in there with LaMarcus Joyners and Telvin Smiths and Jeff Lukes, Jeff Lux. I mean, it was just names all across the board. Top guys that I was like at camps with, and people were pointing at them like, "Yo, those are the guys." So I came into a class like that, and it was really just me and LaMarcus Joyner. So I was like, you know what, that most likely means something if I'm paired up with him in this class, and we're the only guys here. So it was cool in that sense. But I think just being around that culture, being around those guys that came before me, Terrence Parks, Nick Moody's, they all kind of set the tone of, this is Florida State. This is how we do this shit. Get with it or get lost. Like that was that type of vibe there. So it took us, our freshman guys who were real close knit. I mean, we was running around night one of staying there together, like going and just getting into shit we ain't supposed to be in.
Right.
But I think just being in that culture and having some great leaders before us kind of really shaped that and helped me, transition to be the player that I was. So it kind of, man, as soon as they plugged me in, it wasn't too bad after that. You kind of just get used to it.
Right. What's the best piece of advice that you could give someone, a senior getting ready to go? Because, I mean, obviously people are going to big-time schools and doing things like what you're doing. What's that piece of advice you would give them about the transition from high school football, big-time high school football, to big-time college football?
Man, I'm sure it's so different now, but I would just say get in your playbook and keep your confidence. I feel like that's like, if that's truly your goal to make it or to just be successful anywhere, you might as well just go ahead and put the work in now. Because one thing I know is like the partying is always going to be there. The bars are always going to be there. You got to kind of cherish those moments just how you did in high school, because it goes by so quick. And, there's a lot of guys who get caught up in just doing the wrong stuff or just being around that college atmosphere and trying to do what those kids who are not student athletes are doing. That's where you kind of mess yourself up and find yourself in trouble and, jeopardizing your career. But I would tell them kids, like, you got to get in that playbook. Get in that playbook, get into treating your body right, and, have your fun. But just have, it's got to be some balance to that lifestyle. But you're there to play, you're there to get your college degree, but you are there to get, a championship as well. So you should do what it takes to, kind of make that a little better of a chance for you. So, yeah, that's probably the basis of what I could give them. Other than that, like I'm sure that it's just so much different from
Right.
when we were there.
Yeah, for
Right?
sure. For sure. So we always say, especially as coaches, like, hey, make sure you're in your playbook. And obviously, at every level, they say that. Can you just describe to everyone the playbook difference from high school, college, to the pros? I don't think people realize what when you say
Yeah.
get in your playbook, you are
Right.
getting a master's degree in that
Yes.
specific scheme.
It takes time, man. Yeah, high school, I mean, depending on who your coach is, I mean, majority of these kids are running probably 2 to 3 coverages. I mean, and some blitzes here and there. When you get to the next level, I would say college, it's definitely heightened. The terminology is a lot more. The concepts you got to learn more. The just the personnels of knowing what 11 personnel is versus 12 personnel and what you can get out of both. I mean, it's so much stuff you don't think about in high school just because it's so organic. It's so like it's. I want to say it's watered down, but it's not as advanced as colleges. Because colleges, I mean, defensive coordinators are way more advanced. The offensive coordinators are more advanced. Special teams, it's got to be heightened to some degree to adapt to that. The league, I don't want to say it's entirely too much different because I was in Jeremy Pruitt and Mark Stoops' scheme. So I mean, it was stuff that was pretty advanced and came from a tree of other great coaches who either are dominant coaches in the college level or up in the NFL. I would say the difference of that is for the league, your margin of error is just stupid small. Like
Right.
you can't like a one bad step here or like you rounded a break here, it's a touchdown. So I think it's more has to do with the IQ is higher, but it's really just the technique. Your technique's just got to be way more sound. Because there was stuff in college I could get away with, but in the
Right.
pros you can't really be doing too much of that. So there's a difference, and you learn to adapt. I mean, you get beat at something a couple times up there, they're not going to give you too many chances to keep getting beat. So you
Yeah.
better figure it out.
Jobs are on the
Yeah,
line.
right.
So as you're going through college, when did you realize like, hey, the NFL is? I mean, I have a great shot. Like it is best. It's basically if I keep on this trajectory, I'm gonna be in the league in a couple years.
Bro, I didn't think that really until my senior year.
Really, really.
I think getting closer, like in the playoffs and getting to the national championship, it was just that's what I'm telling you. That's what's crazy, bro. Because I wasn't really even thinking about it, and I don't think a lot of the dudes on my team were thinking about the league. It was like we
Right,
were so invested and so locked in, and Jimbo had us like day to day, like we trying to build this shit. So I
right.
don't think that it was ever like I wasn't even thinking about that until you start seeing like okay the draft board a little bit. You
For
start
sure.
seeing a little bit of that stuff. You're like okay, well I guess this is what it is. But I knew I was a baller. I just didn't put myself ahead. I guess ahead of myself at that time. Like I was just focused on college. But I think when it got to like after that national championship game and I saw what I did in that game as well, I was like, all right, bet I know we're gonna get something now.
Right. Yeah, something's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
right. So it worked out how it's supposed to.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So where'd you watch the talk about the draft day leading up to it, the process, and where'd you watch the draft from? And like, were you with family and stuff like that? So just talk about that
Yeah,
process.
yeah. At that time, I was here in Destin, Florida, and it wasn't no big party or nothing like that. Just sat around with my close people at that time, and the first day went by. Well, the first round went by, and everyone's hopeful you can get to
Right.
that, but I mean, the drafts are different. And then you have the second round came, and I was like seeing some safeties come off the board, and I was like, man, ain't no way. What's going on? Like some of them, definitely felt like I was better than.
Right.
And third round came, and that phone ring, and it was Baltimore, and you see your name pop up across the screen with your highlights, and man, it was wild. It was a really cool experience because I was hoping to go to a defensive team, and that's where when you get chosen by the Ravens, it's like, damn, all right, that's legit. Like you start to remember all the greats from Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, and all those guys like that. So it was a very cool experience, man. I guess it's everything you dreamed of at that point. It kind of all hits you up.
Yeah, it's crazy third round draft pick. I mean, that's such a great accomplishment. I mean, that just especially with a team like I said, one of the best drafting teams is the Baltimore Ravens. That's almost universal, right? They do it outstanding, especially they pick a defensive guy. You know, they got Ozzie Newsome, those guys. They pick a defensive guys. They're ready to go for sure. So, what was that process like? Now you transition from high school to big time college football. Now you're going to one of the best known defensive teams. What was the training camps, the OTAs, rookie mini camps? Like, what was that process like?
Oh man, I think at that time, I think I built it up too much because you're just trying to fathom it all, and I feel like my year was so crazy and such a blur because you go through your whole football season in college, we make the national championship. Right after that, I jumped into like moving to go train for the combine, and then I'm hitting the combine, and then you're hitting Senior Bowl, and then Senior Bowl we're straight into the draft, and then during the draft time, my first son was about to be born, so that was like nerve wracking its own being a
Right.
father for the first time. Then you get drafted and then I got drafted, had to fly out to Baltimore, do training camp, well, mini camp, I guess, rookie camp. And then during rookie camp, my son gets born. So I'm flying home,
Wow.
doing that. I get to hold him probably for a day and a half. Then I'm right back over there doing that. So it was a lot to handle, I would say, emotionally. Um, I can't say I wish it was different. I would just say it would have been. I think it would have been better for me at that time if I was like kind of talking through that stuff with someone. I would
Right.
say just to kind of calm myself and kind of just like tune in to like really everything that was going on. So it was just a whirlwind of emotions then. But I don't regret it, man. It was
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It was hectic as hell that year because it was just a lot going on like that whole time, that whole first year. It was fun.
Right, right. And then I saw, a couple different teams, and then I read, I think it was a highlight of a game. They talked about a game. You played for the Patriots. I think at this point, I think you picked off Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? I mean, that's because you played for the Jets before that, right?
Right.
2 years. Was it 2 years for the Jets, and then you went to the Patriots after that?
Yes, man. That game meant a lot, man. Yeah, it was. I had now. Don't get me wrong. I had a pretty good time at the Jets. There was just some things and some people in place that kind of made that a little tough on me, and almost lost the love of the game because of that. And yeah, it's nothing better than going. I got picked up by the Patriots. It was really cool. Got to meet Tom as soon as I got there. Was in the office with Bill, and he's hyping me up and like
Right.
talking about my game. So that in itself, I'm like, shit, man. I got
Yeah,
Bill Belichick, and
for
this is what
sure.
he thinks about me as a player. And he gave me a real shot, man. Because I had got hurt at the end of my rookie year in Baltimore, and now it was hard for me to shake back from that. I had a blown out knee, so they kind of put me in the back end. I wasn't
Right.
really able to get on defense much. Still balling on special teams, but I just wasn't getting my defensive chances. And it was really up until I got to the Jets. I want to say I think it might have been week 3. I got player of the week on defense. I mean, I had like 2 picks. I mean, pass break. I was going crazy. And then they never played me after that. Like, it was just straight special teams. So I was like, what's
Right.
going on? So that pissed me off. But Patriots came, they really gave me a shot. And like it was the best year of my career. Honestly, it was awesome. I was balling. It was for you playing on the other side of Tom Brady over there.
Right.
I mean, it was just a really really cool experience. So yeah, it was Monday Night Football. And we got to the Jets at their place, and then he threw one up, and I snagged it.
You
I was like,
grabbed it.
yeah, I talk hella shit.
I
Like,
bet you got to at that
yeah,
point.
all after that.
It's
It was
like so.
fun.
I told you before I was a Cowboys fan. I don't know if you followed the Cowboys when they played the Panthers, but Rico Dowdle was there with them the year before. He told him to buckle up, and I guess they didn't buckle up because he rushed for like 180. He had like 230 total scrimmage yards, and that I know that felt good for him. It didn't feel good for
Yeah.
us as fans and Cowboys and all that.
Mhm.
But man, that's probably the same feeling, right? Like
Right.
you got that
It's
pick.
like a
Did you keep the
revenge.
ball?
Yeah, it's yeah, hell yeah, I got that ball. I got the cleats, the jersey, I got
Right.
everything from that game. But those are like your revenge games, and I think those are like just little personal battles you have and
You
like
got
things
to,
that you
yeah.
want to achieve in your career. Because everybody holds a little grudge when something don't go their way. So it was what it was, and we made them pay for it. Actually, it was this little poster back here we got over here. It was a good time, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, it definitely was. And then you guys were at the playoffs that year, correct?
Yes, got into the playoffs that year. We ended up losing to the Titans that year. they were pretty damn good
Right.
too
Yeah.
at that time. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just a cool experience being able to play with, those guys. I mean, it was some great players on that defense. Dante Hightower, the McCourty twins, Patrick Chung. I mean, it was guys all over the place that I still talk to this day. They're just good. They're just good people, man. So it was
Right.
fun.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of different coaches, a lot of great coaches that you've been under, and then now you yourself are a defensive coordinator. Your team. I mean, little Belichick, right? I mean, it's like Bill Belichick there. I mean, wow, like your defense is
Yeah.
awesome. It really is. So, what's your defensive philosophy then? Because I mean, it's production. Production matters, and you're doing it.
Right, man. The philosophy for us is, in my opinion, I think probably 85% of this game is just being physical. I think if you're just a dominant force out there, you just being physical, running to the ball, hitting hard. I mean, playing that old school type of football, obviously within the rules, but I think that just I always want to be known for that. I feel like as a player, I was known for that physical nature, and that's how I want my defense to be. And they've really gravitated to it, man. I mean, picked up the nickname, started calling them the Bully Boys at one point, and now it's like really caught on fire, like around here, and just how they play and just the physical nature, like of the defense. Like you will see why. Like, hey, okay, there's a reason why they're named that, and it's just so cool to coach kids who are, they're not entitled. They have a chip on their shoulder. Usually, some of them, are in the hood. Kids who are not your most buttoned up kids, but they
Right.
they care. They really care about the game. They really care about pleasing people and making it out and making something for themselves. They all have a why of why they're playing football. I feel, man, the way they fly around and talk shit and just like hit people, it's just like it's fun to watch. It's a very entertaining defense, and what I think is very cool is my experience from coming from the league and being able to take my scheme and make it my own, but also have my scheme also is somewhat of a reflection of the Bill Belichick's, the Jeremy Pruitt's, the Nick Sabans, those type of trees, and being able to teach that to high school kids and have them actually pick up on it from the way you're coaching it and everything like that. It's to see it come together on game day is like it's so cool to see. I'm just obviously I'm in my bag too of labbing up, but
Yep. Yep.
seeing them execute it against other teams, bro, it's the best.
Yeah. Definitely. What's your approach to giving feedback to the players? Obviously, when you're in a film study or whatever, what's your approach to that leadership piece of saying you can be better or hey, you made a mistake? Some people are they're the yellers. Some are the ones, hey, I've told you twice. Now you go to the bench. Like, what type of approach do you take in giving feedback to these new
I'm
players?
tough. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I'm definitely a tough coach. But I'm also a coach that I'm gonna be tough on you, but I'm also gonna bring you back up, before your confidence gets killed. Like I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna yell at you, but I'm also teaching it to you. And then if I see that the yelling is a little bit too much for you, because every kid is different, then I'm gonna teach you in the way that I feel like I can get the most out of you. Like I'm not just the type that's yelling a lot and cussing them out, but we're not gonna do things that's not gonna make us successful, I would say. Like, and to me, I think it'd be a waste of my time to be out there and not correct you on mistakes that aren't gonna help you make plays, or it's gonna make you one step back from you achieving your goals and getting to college. Like that's the main goal for me. And I tell all my kids, I tell them all the time, I'm like, you're not always gonna like me, but you're gonna like the results. And they kind of look at me as like, damn, I get that.
Yeah.
And
Right.
my
Right.
and I tell them also like, man, my reward isn't the check, because I think we do need to take looks on how these high school coaches in Florida are getting paid. I think it's crazy. So it ain't for the money, at least not for me. I ain't doing it for the money at all. But my goal is to be able to sit in those auditoriums and look up on the stage, and my boy is signing a letter of intent to go to college. Like that's
Right.
my reward. That's my payment. So I'm not gonna let those kids, forget that goal and forget that thing in their life. So I'm tough, and honestly, it's shit. It's working. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
feel me? Like,
For sure. I mean, I'm
yeah,
sure they appreciate it because I mean, the best thing I hear from that is that most people want you to be honest with them.
Right.
right? Don't
Right.
sugarcoat. Hey, you're doing a good job, but then they're on the bench. It's like, coach, you said I was doing a good job, and now I went from playing 50% of snaps. Now I'm like 10%. I'm a special teamer, so people appreciate the honesty more than anything else.
Now they all can't. You know, a lot of people can't handle that at certain schools, but I will. I call kids out in meetings. Like I'm like, hey,
Right,
this is trash. This ain't working. Like
right,
you
right.
need to fix this because this is why you ain't making the plays. I'm showing you. Like I think that's what really makes us different as a organization, as a team. Is I call these kids out. I'm gonna tell them what you're doing wrong. I'm not going because in life ain't gonna be that sweet to
No,
you. So
right.
I'm gonna get you used to it right now. And they respond to it, man. Like kids don't like to get embarrassed too many times. And when you got teammates who also are holding you accountable, hey, you need to get your shit together. You're getting beat, or hey, you ain't studying. You ain't. Because I give my kids reports like, hey, you got a 2x2 report. You got 3x1. I want to see how much you're invested
Right.
into helping your brother next to you make a play as well, and us have a whole common goal, which we break it down every week is state champs. Like, are we doing state championship stuff?
Right, for sure.
So they get it. It's fun.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little bit about the Showtime Middle School Showcase. Talk about your role in it and why you decided that this is a direction that you want to go. Just kind of the backstory of that.
Well, like I said before, my guy Maurice Jones, he's my cousin. I presented the idea to him a long time ago about starting up an organization. We kind of went the football route of doing an actual tackle football team. That kind of got scrapped, and the 7-on-7 thing came up, and he's really taking the reins, and I mean he's really doing a great job. I told him every time we're on the phone, I tell him I appreciate everything that you put into it because he's helped change so many kids' lives over there and give them, get them to colleges, take them to camps, on bus tours, and it's really come together well. Basically, my role right now, Maurice comes and bounces the ideas off me. We talk about it, we discuss it, we reach out to people that we need to reach out to get things done for the kids. But I I I I love that I'm able to be the I guess the figurehead in a sense for it, but he's the one who's really doing all of the stuff and doing a great job at it. And I'm looking to expand that up here where I live as well to basically make Showtime all over Florida. So we're working on it. He's doing an amazing job. We've got the middle school game coming up, and I think it's just a great idea. I think to get those kids in a environment around other top talent around the states, I think it's only going to help them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got kids coming from all over, correct? Like I saw some Texas, some Georgias. Yeah. So are you coaching in the game? Or are you
I am. I am. I'm looking forward to that too. That's gonna
head
be
coach?
sweet.
Obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seventh grade? You coaching seventh grade or what level?
I think he has me. I want to say he has me on the eighth grade. But shit, I'll coach all of them if I could.
Right, right,
It'd
yeah,
be cool. Yeah,
yeah.
it'd be
You already
fun.
got staff already, or how's that
We
building
we
out?
got a couple guys. I got some teammates, some former teammates in mind that I would love to bring along and coach each position group. And it's a way to also keep the community close. It keeps me and my friends close that I played football with, and just kind of gives these kids like, damn man, these are NFL and high caliber guys and coaches and guys and men of the community who I get to you know model myself after if I want to. Like they have those opportunities to have those type of role models. So it's I think it does more good than anything, and just giving these kids, another outlet and some other guys to get close with, and ones who have had the experience and been through it. So it's gonna be a great event, man, and I love what Maurice is doing with this.
Yeah, it's awesome because the thing is especially for the youth to see someone come back and give back someone that's from their area or whatever you want to say, and they prove that you can do it. Seeing someone go through it is that someone's been through it. It's awesome. That's why these college visits are so great because they get to go. When they go on it, they say, "Man, I want to do this. Man, I can do this." Now they have a vision. Before it's like, "Hey, I don't know if I can do it. I don't think I belong." When all actuality, they
Right,
do belong. They're
right,
very qualified. Like you talked about with the process of the NFL draft. Like, man, I wish I had someone that was just kind of in my corner.
exactly.
And for me, that's one of the reasons why I got into coaching. I didn't have my father in my life, things like that. And it was always said
Same.
that, man, I wish. what could have happened. Or
What
so
could
for
have
me,
been.
when I get a chance to do that for somebody, I want to be able to provide that, especially for my kids. My kids don't take it. I mean,
Right,
you know how it is. But my own kids,
right,
they don't care. You know, I've been
right,
around every day. But for me, it's
right,
just I want to be there and show that even though life is tough, like you said, like you can
right.
get through it. You
Yeah.
can do great things, and really the sky's the limit. So I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's
you're doing it. You're doing it right, man. And I think that's the cool part about it as well. I've gotten a chance to coach. Even like the little peewee, the little baby boomers with my
right,
son as they've grown up, and then once they find out who I was, they're, oh, that like what? Like that's our coach, and
right,
all the way up to high school, it's the same thing. I mean, they like we got this young coach here who has done it and he's coaching us. Like I get to at least I can reach out and touch him. Like if I want to, I
right,
can like, ask him a question. I can, they get to see like, damn, this is not maybe it's not that crazy of me making it. We got
right.
somebody here like that. So I think that's what at least for me coaching wise, I think that's what get these players to play so much, harder and tougher and be able to have that understanding and play because they have a coach who truly cares and has been there. So they're more absorbed into what you were saying and doing. Man, it's awesome, man. It's a cool experience.
Right, right. You're still a young guy. You jumping drills with them, or how's that go?
Man, every once in a while,
Every once in a while, you got one or two in you.
if I'm feeling stretched out, good, like
Yeah,
okay, I'm
yeah.
bed, I'll get up in there a little bit. But I think the times I do jump in there, if they mess something up so many times, I'm like,
I got
watch this. So those are the times, and they love to see that too. They're like, damn, look at Coach, man. So
right,
it's
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
For me, I went from being able to help out in the drills and do stuff like that to I got zero drills left. I'm on 40s. It's like
Yeah,
it's not worth it. I'm not going to pull a hamstring out. I'm not
yeah,
pulling a hamstring or anything
right.
like that because they will not let you live it down.
You ain't
So
lying.
I'm not out there doing that. So I miss the days, and I envy the coaches that are they're in their young 30s out there just running routes like receiver drills
Yeah,
and do all that stuff. Like man, I wish I can throw a little bit still, but I don't. I'm not rolling out the pocket. I'm not doing anything but like, and I got to stretch beforehand.
I'm telling you, man, get out. You got to get back in the gym, start running again.
Yeah,
At some point, one of them gonna try you, and you got to be ready
you
for it.
got to be
So,
ready. Oh, yeah. But the thing is, like, because it's like stationary stuff, like gym stuff, like bench and all that, I'm good because I'm not moving.
yeah,
I can sit
right,
there on the bench. Today, I was doing incline chest. I was doing like dumbbells, but
yeah,
it took me a while to warm up. Before I got to the weight I wanted to get
different.
to. I was like, man, I already put in a lot of work. I already did a
It's
workout
different.
before because
It's
I'm not trying
different.
to pull anything. I'm not trying to do anything like because that's what I'm thinking about now is just don't get an injury because I don't want to be set back from the gym. That's like
Right,
my biggest fear is that
right.
I get an injury and now I'm out 2-3 weeks and I got to recover. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
it's a
don't need it.
nightmare.
Don't
No,
need it.
don't need it. But hey, man, I appreciate it. Anything else you want to say before we close this up?
We good, man. I say, make sure you guys pay close attention to Showtime, everything we're doing there with Maurice. Obviously the Choctaw High School up here where I'm at. We plan on making a really good run into the playoffs and getting to this state championship. But we got some boys, man. I challenge all college coaches to take a look at that roster and what we got going because. Man, it's a beautiful thing you got over there. You really got some hungry kids who, love the game of football, very coachable. And we have a great leader in Frank Beasley. I mean, can't say enough good about that guy. He gave me a great opportunity, and we're running with it. So, yeah, pay attention to Choctaw and Showtime, man. We're gonna put it on.
Definitely, I appreciate you from the man
Yes, sir.
himself, Coach Brooks. Has just
Yes,
done an
sir.
amazing job and made it all the way to the league. There was 8 years in the league. They call the NFL not for long. So you made it pretty like you busted that time frame. 8 years in the league, giving back not only coaching high school but middle school, talking about youth, man. So huge shout out to you, and I
Appreciate you.
definitely see you at the showcase and talk to you then. But I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, my man. You take it easy, man.
You as well.
Yes, sir.